Well, hello there. Sorry about the. I had some. I am a stupid dum moment with starting the stream. So that's why I'm a bit late on this. And I'm still. I'll be sorry. I'll be right back. There we are, back. So, what? Oh, and Mr. 42. Hello there. Anyway, the topic for tonight: Utrecht sodomy trials. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had to. Mr. 42, I had to fix something something here real quick. Yeah, but that's how it goes. Yes, Utrecht sodomy trials were between, strictly speaking, in Utrecht were from 1730 to 1731. But however, they did spread to other cities in the Netherlands. Sodomy was something that homosexuality was called back then. But before I go any further, I would like to introduce you my lovely co-hosts. Here is Stefan. He's a hedgehog who always lives in a watering can. Anyway, there we are. And my other co-host is, of course, Bertil. Bertil here is a Moomin forefather. He's my resident Moomin forefather. He's just 100 years old, just a baby. So be kind. There's Stefan. Anyway, as I was saying, it was just a year. It took from a year to 2 years in the entire in Utrecht. However, these did go and spread into the rest of the Netherlands. Anyway, Utrechtse sodomie processen in Dutch. However, my pronunciation tends to be more Flemish. However, those were persecutions, or rather large scale persecutions of homosexuals in the Dutch Republic, starting from Utrecht in 1730. During these trials, they started to persecute and later persecute and first persecute and then prosecute these homosexuals around the nation. And so, as I said, homosexuality was called being a sodomite. It was sodomy, and often carried a death sentence, unfortunately. So as of 1730, the Dutch Republic, or the United Provinces of the Netherlands, existed until from 1588 to 1795, and it was the predecessor state of the current day Netherlands. Prior to these sodomy trials, the Dutch Republic had experienced a disease in cattle, in cows. The dogs that are even nowadays, holding the sea back, were being munched by the sea worm, and then eventually these horrible events that caused, as I understand it, starvation, and other economic disasters, and there was an intense storm that destroyed the Dom Church in Utrecht in 1674, and this was also being blamed on the sodomites and mind you, I'm using the terms that were used back then, so it's not, those aren't the sort of words that I would personally use. It's curious that in so many cases they blame all these kinds of Mr. Fortitude, yes, the Dom still stands to this day, and it's the the only pre-Reformation cathedral in the Netherlands. So there we go. So, but yes, it still stands. The Dom Cathedral. Yes, it does, even to this day. So part of it was destroyed. The church's nave, like Nave, is part of the church was collapsed due to a storm in 1674. So that also, for some hitherto unknown reason, was blamed on homosexuals. I mean, it's often it's curious that quite often it's gays or a certain other minority that is being blamed for all kinds of shit. However, the ruins of said Dom Church's nave were used for years actually, as meeting place for homosexuals. Uh, and then city authorities came snooping around in 1730, in spring of 1730, and then the city officials came snooping in, and then nothing good ever came out of this. Came out of that. You can be sure of that. Excuse me, I'm just okay. There we are. Now, going on. Several men were arrested, interrogated, and eventually in Utrecht, around 40 men were put on trial, of whom 18 were convicted and strangled. And death by strangling, by the way, was the execution of choice for sodomy in back in the day in the Dutch Republic. There is actually an amazing website I happened to find. I'll get it up for you. So this is a somewhat not extensive, but a good source of reading into the Dutch purge of homosexuals from 1730. Those are typically called because these purges or sodomy trials started from Utrecht. They tend to call them, in many sources, they tend to call them the Utrecht trials, but even though it's spread from Utrecht to other cities. It was horrible. These weren't even all that old. These men, 20 to 45, these started. It's horrible to see that these men were actually the kinds of fates they met were rather grim. Some were, as I understand it, some were actually strangled to death by hand. What kind of an executioner? What kind of an executioner goes on to strangle by hand someone who's been accused of being a sodomite, a homosexual? These men, who they were echoing. Interesting. Mr. 42, is this better now? Or is this better now? I might be having issues with my microphone. Just let if Mr. Foster's or someone else is watching, please let me know if there's issue, if the sound is better. Because it's my excuse me. Still echo. Okay. Nice. I'll be right back. Okay, are we? No, we are not. Okay. I think we're in. No, I have an echo. I'm truly sorry. Okay. Are we any better? Because this is my actually first time using, well, second time using this particular piece of software for streaming. Anyway, until someone gives me an answer in the chat, I will move on. It's alright. Alright. Excellent. If someone else has an issue with an echo, please let me know. Unfortunately, I apparently managed to remove an echo from you, my viewers, but I got an echo for myself, for myself and my end. Anyway, much of this, these trials or these purges, persecutions, what do you want to call it? It came from religion. A lot what came from these where much of this started were Protestant preachers attempting to purge or get rid of homosexuals for the sake of religion. They dug up some stuff from the Bible especially, for example, Deuteronomy. I think it's that book. It's called that in English. Deuteronomy, for example. They dug up some idiotic shit to then support and drive in the purge, to sort of blame the homosexuals on the shitworm that was eating the Dutch dikes by the sea. So, and these natural disasters, the storm that destroyed the part of the Dom Church in Utrecht in 1674. They were going on to blame all this on homosexuals. They based their arguments on the Bible. It's something that I'm not very not very surprised of, really. Anyway, there were several waves of these sodomy trials or persecutions in the Netherlands after this Utrecht sodomy trials trials were over. In the 18th century, that is, there were 1797 were in Utrecht and Den Haag, The Hague, in 1764 in Amsterdam, and 1776 in many other cities, and these went on to occur in the Dutch colonies, such as Batavia in Dutch East Indies, and as for the legacy, there are plaques. For example, there's a plaque on a street, on at least one street in Utrecht, that to commemorate the honor the memory of these men who lost their lives due to prejudice, religious prejudice, in Utrecht and later on. And I'm not sure, but as far as I can tell, there might be similar plaques elsewhere, where they, in the Netherlands possibly, where they had these sodomy trials in the 1700s. Anyway, it's in 1999, the Dam Square was a place where the ruins as I mentioned, in the ruins of the church, it was a gay cruising place, and then that's where then they then the city authorities found the gay men, at least part of them, and in since 1999 there's been a stone commemorating the deaths of these persecuted sodomites, aka homosexuals, and telling the and notifying people that the terminology has been changed since then, and that gays are no longer considered sodomites. Yeah. By the way, if at any point you have questions regarding this subject, anything about my channel, future content, please don't hesitate. And anyway, it's and the what I found on the excuse me, from this richternorton.co.uk website is an excellent read. When I was gathering up stuff for this for this live stream, what I initially, when it comes to the figures, what I initially had were just from Utrecht, but eventually I came across this richternorton.co.uk and a few other sources, and it's up to, so there's around 250 men were tried for just for being gay. Some faced 91, I think, were that faced decrees of exile or for not appearing, and these 250 men, 60 were sentenced to death and executed for being gay. It's really why is it these in the even then it were the Protestant preachers that were mercerating this and fear mongering all this, that these sodomites come and destroy our churches and stuff. So, as I said on Monday stream, this past Monday. So I mean that when I talked about the Texas Democrats abolishing the law, the anti-trans bill they tried to get as a law, this anti-trans sports law. On Monday and many other videos where I've gone through these trans or LGBT phobic or just plain transphobic bills. It's all why it's always, at least those anti-trans laws that I've been going through, have been motivated by religion. The anti-LGBT bills and these sort of trials, these homophobic trials. You know what? What is the common factor? What is the common factor for the reason why these, what is the bottom reason? The bottom reason why these bills exist. Yes, it's religion. Always religion, every single time. And these 250 men lost their lives because of idiotic, bigoted views. And these transphobic preachers. Yeah. It's always religion. Why? Why is it always religion? To all my viewers, I'll give you a challenge. Find me one. Go check out what sort of bills I've taken up on my channel. Check out what kind of bills those are. Find me one single bill that has been put up, that has been put forward and trying to get it into law. One piece of such legislation that has been written and peddled through towards becoming law by an atheist. That's my challenge. There's no money involved in this challenge, but I challenge you for the free challenge, money-free, price-free challenge, to find one of these, like the one the Texas Democrats abolished this past month, last week. Most of those Democrats most likely aren't atheists, but an irreligious or an atheist person, not religious, who has a law that has gone through, or at least try to get through. That's my challenge. So, in a way, we haven't come far in this sense. We haven't come too far, at least, when it comes to protecting gay people from law, from the state. When the state tries to get, still nowadays, even in the US, the state tries to get LGBT plus people in trouble just because who they are. It's been 300 years since the Utrecht sodomy trials. I had hoped we had come further. But hey, we can. One of the reasons, many reasons I do this history with Heidi, is that we would learn from history. I have, for example, the first episode I had, remembering Alan Turing. Please go check out, and we can learn, and society can learn from how Alan Turing was treated and unfairly tried for being gay. Anyway, this stream will be a bit shorter. Now, there are a few people watching. If you have any questions, comments, perhaps Mr. 42 might still be there. Just some questions, comments, whatever. You can slam all the everything you want. But hey. Anyway, while my viewers think, if they ask something, you have Mr. Yes, Mr. 42, you have a remark. Off you go. It's always good to have the live chat. Nice to have the chat there, so I can get like Mr. 42's remarks. Yes, Mr. 42 goes on to say, when I visited Utrecht about 8 years ago and had a tour around the Dom area, none of this was mentioned. That means it's still being buried publicly. Yeah, and I understand why, because they are probably there's probably still so embarrassed of the fact that they are still so sore. When you think how tolerant the big cities in Europe, as well as, let alone the Netherlands, like Amsterdam and such. Utrecht is a big city. Utrecht is a big city. It's the fourth largest city, I think, in the country. And if the fourth largest city in your country has this kind of history, and the people showing you around at the church, when the church was the one advocating and throwing fuel into fire in these sodomy trials, where eventually up to 300 people were tried, and many of those leading up to a death sentence. The church is embarrassed, and they should be. And that the city of Utrecht is embarrassed, and they should be. It's like, so that's why they probably didn't mention any of this. Mr. 42, when you went to visit Utrecht that 8 years ago. Like, if I worked for a company and my company did something horrible, like something despicable, when I was there, and then my grandkids went to visit the company, or where the company was back then, and the company executives or those giving you the tour, would they tell you, my grandkids, what their nana was up to? The company would be ashamed of their actions. So the church, that's probably why they conveniently forgot to mention. So there we go. Anyway, do you have any more remarks, questions of the souls? Alright. Anyway, before I go, I would like to and say, Mr. Fortescue, no, they wouldn't. But the Dutch are becoming more liberated now about talking their dark past in the few decades. Yes, and I would surely hope so. That the same kind of progress would then happen in the future in many other countries. My country has some stains in the past, but they are not talked about that much. Anyway, I'll be going in a few moments, but excuse me. Yes, so I would like to remind all my viewers that on YouTube 65 no, that's wrong stats. But anyway, about a third of my viewers are not subscribed. So basically, most of my viewers are not subscribed. Excuse me. Anyway, it's about a third only of my viewers that are subscribed, and I would please ask you, please subscribe. That helps me, that helps my channel grow. That will help my channel grow in the future, and I hope to be a much bigger channel in the future. And I have very special things to announce, but I won't do that yet. But in a few months there will be a special event. Anyway, there are description box. There's a description box on YouTube, and I would kindly ask you to check all the links in the description box down below, so that you can find some more of my sassy content. There are playlists. There are my season 1, season 2, Monday news, Friday facts. There will be special files, and history with Heidi, and one Sunday special. And hopefully there will be some many more Sunday special shows. And of course, in the description box, there you can also find my channel's Discord server, Heidi's Corner. The link is down there, and then LGBT plus safe space server, and the link is also in the description box below. Oh. I gotta love you and leave you. Oh, just nice. Okay. Please like and subscribe. Say bye. Be back till. And say bye. Stefan. Oops. Let's. Oh. I will see you on Monday, or an episode of Monday News.